It's a privilege standing on this red dot. So, what do you expect? Big words like parampara, pratishtha, anushasan? Nah, none of that. We've heard it all before: dramatic failures, cinematic comebacks. But let's face it, not everyone is built for greatness. A lot of people live ordinary lives with no inspiring stories to tell, no cinematic turnarounds. And that's perfectly fine because this isn't about a motivational monologue. If you expect a story where I failed, failed again, and then rose to glory, sorry to disappoint. I never set a goal to fail at. In fact, my biggest problem, focus, or rather lack of it. And you laugh at this. If life were a GPS, mine would just say rerouting every 5 minutes. I never had a 10-year plan. I barely had a 10-minute plan. And still, I'm here. I have a story of quiet transformation, of quiet rebellion, of finding whispers in the noise, of rising above the run of the mill life. Not with a bang, but with a silent, stubborn nudge that said, not like this, not like this, not anymore. Of silencing my inner demons and finally finding my ikigai, the reason for being. And we'll circle back to this magical Japanese word because it isn't just mine. You may find yours hidden in your own whispers. But first, let me give you some context, a peek into my past life. Okay, my ongoing life, just with a twist. Dismissed. One word that summed up my existence for decades. And no, I am not playing the blame game here because, spoiler alert, I contributed to it. I wasn't assertive, didn't claim space. Selflessness, being nice. Turns out virtues become vices if you overdo them. Your opinions become optional. You lose yourself. I wore mediocrity like a uniform. And trust me, it never fit right. So you'll ask me what kept me going. The usual three things that work for everyone: extreme honesty, ridiculous levels of hard work, and steel-like mental tenacity. I had all three. A little dramatic and fashionable flair too. That's a GPS for my soul. When your body starts giving up and your mind is on a permanent buffering mode, and you still keep showing up. That's not mediocrity. That's resilience. And then came motherhood. My 3 daughters resurrected me. They gave me meaning, purpose, and a perfectly good reason to ignore the outside world. Being their mother wasn't just fulfilling, it was glorious. I just didn't give birth. I was reborn. Not in the Bollywood mother makes laddus kind of way, but in the real, raw, and beautifully chaotic way. But in that process, I misplaced someone. Yes, me. So, and yet, somewhere in a parallel dreamscape, I kept seeing flashes of myself. Beautiful, accomplished, successful, doing something that mattered. Back in the real world, I took a tiny step in that direction and completed my graduation in Kathak, along with my doctors. We are now a gang of certified Kathak graduates. And my girls, they're sitting right here. They grew up into fine, remarkable, and accomplished women, all gold medalists in their own right. They empowered me as much as I empowered them. And now the power flows outward, not just from mother to child, but woman to woman, stories to story. As they moved out, something else returned. That knock from within. First, it was gentle, and it grew louder, and then it became persistent. It was time to find me again. I needed to center myself. But as you know, centering isn't exactly plug and play. It's not yoga plus green juice is equal to peace. It's breakdowns. It's meltdowns. It's crying into chai. It's your heart saying one thing, your mind saying another, and your face just smiling awkwardly. So at 47, which was 5 years ago, I jumped headlong into the working world after 23 years of being mommy on call. But let me tell you, the corporate world wasn't ready for me. Or maybe I stand corrected, I wasn't ready for that world. I worked for giants like Seagram, Google, Amazon. Sounds glamorous, right? But here's what they don't put on the brochure. If your soul thrives on meaning, KPIs will make you cry. The corporate world felt empty. Too much jargon, not enough heart. I missed connection, impact, and a sense of we. This was the real world, and I had been away. I had changed spiritually, emotionally, deeply. So that was the time when I discovered that I was done with the noise. I was listening to the whispers. And those whispers said that there was something else you meant to do, something that made a difference. And those whispers led me to the driver's seat. Literally, I became a driving coach. Not exactly a glamorous title, but it changed lives, including mine. So, reality check here. In India, only 2% women drive. Just 2%. That number doesn't reflect just mobility. It reflects freedom, safety, employment, empowerment, autonomy. In fact, according to a 2021 survey by the International Transport Forum, lack of mobility is one of the key barriers to employment for women in developing countries. But I say that driving just doesn't get you a job. Driving is the job. It's a liberation behind the wheels. And for someone who's called the queen of the roads, this bugged me. And I thought, how is it that women who run companies, households, classrooms, elections freeze at the steering wheel? And I asked them, and oh boy, did the stories tumble out. Number one, patriarchy that just doesn't take a day off. Fear, anxiety, trauma, past failures, condescending driving instructors who said, Madam, aapse nahi hoga. Husbands who tried to teach them and nearly filed for divorce. Uncles who shouted, Dikhai nahi deta hai, you'll kill someone. And that cherry on the cake, the universal insult, Pakka auntie hi hogi. And yet, I have seen more men reverse on flower pots and motorcycles than women ever will. No one was talking to women. No one was teaching them with kindness. No one was healing their fears. So I did enter woman coach. I brought psychology, empathy, and a patient voice to the driver's seat. And you know what? Magic happened. Women aged 67 and 70 started driving. Accident survivors who had been living with trauma for decades started driving. The autistic, the disabled, the hearing impaired, young boys, even men came. And I told them what I tell everyone. Confidence, fear does not discriminate. Confidence shouldn't either. I have seen women cry with joy. I have seen confidence being born. Because driving is therapy. It's mindfulness. It's motion. It's metaphor. It is so akin to life. You miss a turn. Do you reverse illegally? Or do you take that longer route, make that U-turn? You make a mistake. Own it. Pay for it. Learn from it. Sometimes you're speeding when you should slow down. Sometimes you pay for no fault of yours. Sometimes you're stuck in a traffic jam with doubt and shame. Sometimes you change lanes into courage. Sometimes your engine stalls, but your spirit restarts. Driving is life in motion. It's direction over speed. It's control without domination. So the driver's seat became my meditation mat. my protest banner, my healing space, and yes, my TEDx stage. And that's why I do what I do. And somewhere along this journey, I decided why not enter Mrs. India? I needed to amplify my voice, raise my cause, and probably wear a beautiful gown. That was the year 2023. I won the title. So here I am, from being dismissed to driving dreams, from a forgotten identity to fierce independence, from whisper to a roar. This is quiet. This is not a rags to riches story. It is quiet revolution. And my motto, all right, I even tattooed it on my leg. It says, Ekla cholo re. Go alone if you must, but go. And drive, even if it's in the first gear. Even if your engine stalls, even if the car stalls, even if the world honks behind you, because your ikigai, yes, that's magical Japanese word, your ikigai doesn't arrive with the GPS location. Sometimes it shows up as a whisper in the noise. Sometimes it shows up with the key in your hand and the foot on your pedal. And as Shah Rukh Khan wisely said, sacrifice food, sacrifice sleep, just don't sacrifice the fire within. And I leave you with my hashtag, which is very simple, very basic, and self-explanatory. It says, Utho or Niklo. Stop mulling, stop deliberating, stop thinking too much. Take that first step. Utho or Niklo. Thank you.